Welcome to Techstination. Joining us is Adrienne Liebenberg, the co-founder of NotForgotten. Thank you for joining us, Adrienne.
Fred, thanks so much for your time today. Great to be here.
Well, you've got a very, very interesting company here carving out a niche for itself. It's called NotForgotten. Tell us what it's all about.
Thanks, Fred. So I guess we are we consider ourselves a tech company focusing on capturing and preserving people's stories for centuries. What we really wanted to do was to find a way to save stories so that generations of a whole family can access those stories and enjoy them for centuries to come. So what we do, we sell what we call video time capsules in 50-year, 150-year, and 300-year preservation options. And we enable our customers to capture videos worth remembering, and we preserve them in multiple different ways for 300 years.
And there are multiple ways people can do this, either professionally produced videos or more or less a do-it-yourself kind of thing?
That's exactly right, Fred. So we actually want to appeal to a wide audience. Everybody has a story, and we didn't want to specifically focus on the higher quality professional videos, which are more expensive, or just an app-produced product. So we went with both. You are able to film your own story, self-film it. You can have someone else film it on our app, or you can bring in a certified professional videographer to film your story. Once you have captured your story in any of those ways, we then take it in and we get on with the preservation and proof of existence of that video.
Well, tell me about the philosophy here, the preservation, and I guess the goal is to have all of these made public, if not immediately, sooner or later.
That's exactly right, Fred. I'm delighted you know that. So we do two very specific things. One, the preservation and archiving, and two, proof of existence so that these videos can be discovered long into the future. So the first thing we do in terms of the preservation is we follow Library of Congress archiving standards. We are a certified library. And we take our videos from our customers, we create multiple copies, and we store them in multiple locations around the world in multiple formats. So that actually physically means to you and me that we will create a copy, put it on an actual tape, and keep it in a climate-controlled vault for the next 300 years. And that technology will be repeatedly updated by our digital preservation trust. So we've established a trust fund to oversee the library and preservation activities. So all of that is about making sure that your video will be available to be watched for 300 years. The second part is to help your family and researchers find those videos. So we put a huge amount of effort into creating proof of existence. And we do that by putting records on the blockchain. We create public library records, and we create genealogy records for you and your family. And we tie all of those records to your video so that one day, a long, long, long time in the future, when your great-great-great-grandchildren come looking for your video, they'll be able to find you in the library, they'll find you on the blockchain, or they'll find you through genealogy research and be able to watch your video. So it's quite complicated technology that boils down to a simple proposition that says you create a video worth remembering, the one that really matters, and we'll make sure it's available to your family for the next 300 years.
And obviously, this can't be dependent upon NotForgotten continuing to exist.
Exactly right. It was one of the most challenging pieces of thinking and navigation we had to do in building this technology. It was about saying, how do we let our archives, which are the videos, help them prevail long after the company is dead. And if you think about the institutions that survive, they're typically universities, they're government archives, they're libraries, they're preserved by archivists, genealogists, they have particular cataloging standards that they have to comply to, and they are funded. So we had to set up a preservation trust in order to do that. It's a legal entity and a US legal entity that part of the funds that we take from customers is put into this fund to care for these videos for centuries. And that fund is managed separately by a board of advisors and a library. So when the company ends, if and when, or it takes on a new life of its own, as companies do, the library and the preservation trust will be tasked with the survival of these assets for the next 300 years. And they will be funded to be able to do it, and they will have the preservation standards to be able to do it that match the best libraries and preservation archives in the world.
How long are the typical videos?
Each video, we give people the opportunity to film themselves for 30 minutes, and we find that most people finish their videos around 20 to 25 minutes. So some people want to talk for longer. If they want to do that, they can upgrade and buy more data, and we'll be able to store a longer video for them. But the average person goes through an interview process of 8 questions and typically takes about 30 minutes.
How much does it cost?
So we have the lowest end package at $69, and that is an e-gift package. So you can buy it for your mom and get it delivered via email, and that will cover your 50 years of preservation and give you a single proof of existence record, all the way up to 179 self-filmed option. And finally, if you want a professional option, we have to work with the videographer in your local area, and typically costs around $1,500. So you can see a very wide range of pricing from $69 all the way through to about $1,500, depending on the quality of the video you want to produce.
So how did this come about? What's the story, Adrienne?
Oh, it's quite a sad story. My partner, his dad died in a horrible way when he was very young. And one night we were talking over dinner about really a random conversation about who you would like to have dinner with, if you could have dinner with anyone. And he quickly moved to the one person that he would want to have dinner with is his dad, who had died when he was 6, and Paul really can't remember him at all. He's got a couple of grainy photos. He's got a newspaper article of the accident, and some vital records. And he's very sad about that. And we got to talking about this technology must exist. Everybody is able to take thousands of videos on their smartphones, and yet why have none of these videos really survived more than a couple of decades? And that's because data rots, and you can't create the proofs of existence, and you need to update the technology, and you can't find the one video that really matters. So we worked through a process of saying, how would we solve this for other people, because it's a really real and painful story for my partner, Paul.
It is a sad story, but when I suppose that's common. We all lose the people around us, and I guess that's the purpose behind this.
So, exactly right.
So how can people get in touch with you and learn more about this?
Fred, so we have quite a comprehensive website, www.not-forgotten.com. On the website, you can link to the gallery of videos that people are choosing to showcase publicly. You can link to the blockchain records. You can link to the library records, or you can learn to how you make your video, or request a professionally filmed video as well if you're interested in that.
And we touched upon it before, but the idea of being able to set a date for the video time capsule to become public.
Yes.
Tell me about that, because you can choose way down the road, 100 or more years from now, if you choose.
That's right, Fred. So, this smashes straight into the big question, and actually I'm in Europe right now, the big question of data privacy, and it's a really big issue here in Europe. It's obviously a growing and important issue in America. People people don't necessarily want to make their one video that really matters, their life story, and make it public to everyone. But the issue is that we are a library, and if it is truly private, your descendants won't be able to discover it. So we had to invent a solution around how do we allow people to keep their videos private for a period of time, but eventually make those videos public so they could be part of the public library. And what we did was we set up a system called the Advanced Directive, and you are allowed to choose the period of time in which your video remains private. So you could even, share some dark secret in your life about, your love child, or, something secret that you didn't want people to know about, and you could ask that to be revealed in 50 years' time, or 100 years' time, as you say. But ultimately, it will become your record of history and will join the library and be part of the library assets that will become public and discoverable throughout the world. So it's a really unique application of the Advanced Directive. It sits in the blockchain. It sits on your GEPOM record, which is the genealogy record, and it sits on the library record to say in 50 years' time, this video can be released to the public.
Very interesting. And the site again is www.not-forgotten.com. Adrienne Liebenberg, thank you for taking the time with us.
Fred, thanks so much. Great talking to you. Thanks for the questions.
Cooking with the power of the sun. Hi, I'm Fred Fishkin, here to tell you about the latest innovation from my friend Patrick Sherwin and his great team at GoSun Stove. The GoSun Fusion has arrived using the company's tried and true reflectors and a solar vacuum tube to get you cooking without the mess of charcoal, heavy propane tanks, or smoke. A really bright idea. And with an optional solar panel and battery storage and the ability to plug in at home or on the road, you really can use the GoSun Fusion to cook anytime and anywhere, day or night, rain or shine. I love what Patrick and his team are doing, and so will you. Want to learn more? Head to gosun.co to check out all of the company's products and innovations, and use the code TEXTINATION to save 10%. That's gosun.co.